Hi everybody, Dan Ullman, Mike Beer, the DRF.com Formulator Race of the Day for Saturday, August the 5th, race number 9 at Saratoga. It's the prestigious Grade 1, $1.2 million Whitney for 3-year-olds and up. Let's take a look at this field. We've got 4 Keeneland graduates in the race, and the big story is the number 6 Gun Runner, one of the better handicap horses in the country, one of the better horses in all of the world, a deserving 4 to 5 on Travis Stone's morning line.
Yeah, he's just based on what he's been doing, especially ever since that Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile last year, the races he's run since then. I mean, they just make him really, really hard for this field to be. And the one time he didn't win in that stretch, he was a very good second at the Dubai World Cup.
It took Arrogate to beat him in the Dubai World Cup at a distance a little bit farther than Gun Runner
yeah,
was.
That's true too.
This mile and an eighth really hits him right between the eyes, and his Stephen Foster was a good race. I mean, they gave him the lead in there.
Yeah.
For some reason, Bird Song didn't want the front, and Florent Giroux was like, well, I'll take it with the best horse. And Gun Runner put on a show. The Razorback's a race he's supposed to win 100 times out of 100 times.
Yes.
And his Clark handicap win was a nice performance as well. Now, there's been some talk that if the track comes up wet or sloppy, maybe Gun Runner's not the same horse. Do you buy that?
It's a valid concern, I suppose. First of all, we'll see what happens with the weather. I mean, I know that there's a chance of thunder. It's Saratoga in August. There's always a chance of thunderstorms. We'll see if it rains. I don't know that I'm necessarily in the camp that this horse doesn't like a wet track and won't run well on it. I mean, I don't really see what the evidence is for that in his PPs. I guess he didn't run great in the Haskell, whether you thought he was supposed to win the Haskell or not.
Well, he was facing 2 of the better wet track horses in the country.
Yeah, it really was. And I mean, I don't know if he was supposed to win that race anyway. He didn't run great there, but I mean, look at the Dubai World Cup was on a muddy track. He ran great that day. And I happen to be one of the few people, I don't even know if you agree with this, his Kentucky Jockey Club as a 2-year-old, I thought he ran really well that day. I don't think the wet track affected him.
So perhaps no excuses then if it comes up wet. Let's see if the Timeform US Pace Projector does him in. Now, Craig Milkowski on Out of the Gate, and again, we urge you to watch, of course, on our YouTube channel on video.drf.com. He mentions that this pace projector was kind of tough because the 3 Cautious Giant, let's be honest, is in here for one reason, and that's to be the rabbit for the other luchador. So expect the 3 Cautious Giant to be out there, but doesn't Gun Runner just sit off him with the best trip?
He's supposed to. I mean, it would be sort of foolish. I know the Gun Runner sort of established himself lately anyway as a horse who wants the lead, and maybe he's at his best on the lead, but it'd be foolish to get locked up with Cautious Giant, a horse who can't possibly beat him. If that horse is on a dead scent, I guess you just let him have it and track off him. If I was Giroux and Steve Asmussen, I'd be more worried about 2 Brutus being in this race, because I know this horse is turning back out of longer races. This horse has a lot of natural speed, and I suspect he's going to be using it on Saturday.
He also has a 118 Beyer speed figure in his North American debut, the Grade 3 Excelsior. He then came back and hammered a field in the Flat Out Stakes, and he sort of stamped himself as one of the better marathoners in North America. Now, the Brooklyn, for some folks, it was a disappointing effort. He controlled the pace up front, and he was fighting in the stretch, but it just looked like something was amiss. And after the race, Gary Contessa mentioned that the horse scoped sick. So maybe there are excuses. He has speed. I don't think he has rabbit speed, but I agree with you. He could certainly be a lot closer to the pace than the pace projector has.
Yeah, I think he will be. I mean, I know that they're longer races, but these are not, especially the first 2 starts over here, these aren't races where, typical dirt races over here with weaker fields and just walking paces. This horse was making legitimate paces going longer. I'm going to give him a pass for that last one, especially just because this feels like a really confident race for them to run this horse in. And I will say, whether you want to take the 118 with a little grain of salt for that Excelsior, and I do a little bit, he backed that race up pretty well, the 108 the next time. This horse is good.
If you believe there's going to be a hot pace up front, well, Keen Ice returns to the scene of his upset Travers win over Triple Crown winner American Pharaoh, and he appears to be returning in good form. He won the Suburban last time out, and he had to work a little bit because there was no pace. And Keen Ice is the kind of horse that needs a little bit of pace. He was hustled to be a little bit closer than usual. I think the 1.25 miles really helped him in that race because he just gets going as the distances increase. I'm not sure I love him as much at 1.125 miles, but he's going to get some pace. He's in good form. He likes the Spa. He's going to be a playable enough price. He could easily win the Whitney.
Yeah, he really could. This is not going to be, and I know Gun Runner is going to be a heavy favorite in here, but this is not going to be like a gigantic upset this time if Keen Ice wins. I'm kind of with you. The 1.125 miles, I feel like he wants the mile. And if this Whitney was at a mile and a quarter, I'd probably be picking him and betting him and taking a shot against Gunrunner with him. But at mile and eighth, I think it's harder for him. He ran well last time.
War Story is in good form. He won the Brooklyn last time out. He really stayed the mile and a half to upset Two Brutus. That was kind of a weird race. I thought Javier planned it brilliantly. Sunny Ridge came with a big early move in that mile and a half race, and he flattened out late. And Javier just said, "Go ahead on the turn to that one." Waited until that horse knocked Two Brutus out, and the next thing you know, War Story chugged on home. Maybe he'll eventually find a home at a mile and a half. He's run well at a mile and an eighth. I just wonder if he's just a notch below Gunrunner.
I kind of think that he is at least one notch below that horse. He's pretty good though. He's been a good horse right from the start. The problem with him is he's only got 2 races that make him close to competitive, and you have the one last time at a mile and a half where you say he got everything laid out perfectly for him out in front. He's got the other one, the 106, where he got loose on a speed favoring track. I don't know. I feel like he's not good enough to win this race, but we'll see if he can pull the right trip.
Breaking Lucky's a nice horse that ran well over this track last year in the Woodward. He did all the dirty work in the New Orleans handicap at this distance, 3 starts back, and was run down late. But maybe he's not the kind of horse I don't think that really loves a wet track.
I agree with that.
And B, in the Stephen Foster, I mean, it's not like he was coming from 100 lengths off that mild pace. He was sitting up close and just didn't have it in the stretch. I wonder if he was in better form at this point last year.
He might have been. And he is one of those horses who's in and out. You never know when you're going to get the good one, but when you get the good one, it's pretty good. If it's a wet track, you probably want to tread a little lightly with him. It seems like, as you say, he's not at his best on a wet track. But there's nothing wrong with this horse. If he pulls the right trip, he can make himself a factor in this race.
And Discreet Lover looks like an outsider along with the Rabbit. As we take a look at our selections for the Grade 1 Whitney, no surprises. We go with Gunrunner in here, wet track or no. Mike's going to go 6, 4, 5, and 2. I'm going to go 6, 5, 2, and 1. And I ask you, how do you play this from a multiple race standpoint? Do you use Keen Ice too? Do you use Two Brutus?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to use Two Brutus. I flirted with putting Two Brutus on top and just taking a shot here because I do think that horse is pretty good, but mostly Gunrunner though, especially if it's a fast track.
6, 4, 5, 2 for Mike, 6, 5, 2, 1 for me. In the Grade 1 Whitney, one of 3 graded stakes races at the Spa on Saturday. If you're playing that card from home, please sign up to DRF Bets. You get a great deal. 10% win place takeout on 10 select tracks, including Saratoga, all summer long. Also a $300 cash bonus. Learn more at drf.com/take10. Approximate post time for the Whitney, 5:46 Eastern. Good luck.